All right, so those of you who follow us over at Third Shot Sports, you might know that we have a newsletter. This newsletter is called Inside Pickleball, and I think it's pretty good. Goes out, it's free, goes out to tens of thousands of people. I forget what our last subscription number is. The point is, when we send out Inside Pickleball, you often give us feedback or you ask us questions, and I received a question lately from someone that I thought maybe we should address here. So this person's question had to do with the serve. They were saying that when they go out and they play pickleball, they are sure that they're following all the rules when you hit a regular serve, when you hit that ball out of the air. Making sure that your arm is going upward as you hit, that you make contact below your waist, and that the highest part of the paddle isn't above your wrist when you make contact, right? This would not be okay because it's above my wrist. This would be okay because it's not above my wrist, right? You get the idea. Now, this person was saying, well, wait a second, Mark. There is someone out there who tells me that I can't serve this way, that I'm not allowed to toss the ball up in the air, because that's what they did. Even though they weren't letting it bounce or anything, it was a regular serve, but they tossed the ball up in the air and then they hit it. And this person's friend was saying, no, can't do that, gotta just release it. Anyway, let's clarify things a little bit. When you're hitting a regular serve, that is hitting the ball out of the air before it has landed on the ground. It's not a drop serve, it is a regular serve. There are absolutely no rules about how you release that ball. Well, I guess there's some rules. You can't use your paddle to create the spin anymore. But there's no restrictions on whether you're allowed to toss it up in the air or not. You could throw that ball a mile up into the air if you like, and then hit it. But you have to make sure that you're still following all those other rules. Okay, but here's the thing. When you are hitting a traditional serve, that is hitting the ball out of the air without it bouncing first, there are no rules about tossing the ball up in the air. Well, in lots of places, you can no longer use the paddle to create the pre-serve spin. But you know what I mean. You can throw that ball up in the air. You can throw it a mile up in the air if you like. Just make sure that when you hit it, you're following all the rules. You're making contact below your waist. You're swinging upward. The highest part of the paddle isn't above your wrist. Okay, so there's no rules about that. Where the rules come into play when it comes to releasing the ball, that is throwing it up, whatever, putting it down, is when you're using the drop serve. So when you're using a drop serve, you are not allowed to aid the dropping of the ball. So I can't throw it down into the ground and have it bounce up. I can't throw it up into the air and then have it bounce down. And why is that? Well, because when you make contact with the ball, when you're using a drop serve, there are no rules about how you hit it. You can swing however you want. So you can imagine a situation where someone throws the ball really high, lets it bounce, comes up high, chest high, and then takes a big rip, right? That wouldn't be fair. Similarly, if they throw the ball down into the ground and then it bounces up high, in theory, I guess, if you could bounce it high enough, you could hit it overhand, right? Almost like an overhead smash, and that wouldn't be fair either. So when it comes to the drop serve, the rules really are about how you release the ball. It is just a drop. It is a release. You can stand on your tiptoes, you can reach up high if you want, but you just have to release it. When you're hitting a regular serve, no rules about throwing that ball up. Just make sure that you follow all the rules when it comes to the swing. You should be fine.